Hello and welcome to Inside Bikes. This time we have been riding this, the Ducati Diavel V4. It's the latest version of Ducati's Diavels. This time it has the V4 engine. The previous generation had the V2. This V4, I mean, it's basically what started out as the Desmosedici Stradale, the one that powers the Panigale and the Street Fighter, but it has been turned into a Gran Turismo version for this one, and the same Gran Turismo engine runs in the Multistrada as well. And it has been just softened. It's still a massive big engine. Ducati calls it compact V4, but as compact as a 1160cc V4 can be, it's still a huge lump of an engine. Very clever thing. It has a lot of electronics going around the engine as well. All the sort of usual you would expect, cornering, ABS, traction control, wheelie control, all of that stuff. There's a launch control, cruise control, all sorts of various gadgets here, as you would expect from a bike that costs somewhere north of 23 grand. It is a very premium product. What surprised me most about this bike is just how it works really well. It almost fools you into thinking that it's a normal bike, where it's an absolutely crazy thing. It has a 240 section rear tyre, it has a massive V4 engine. It's what Ducati calls a muscle bike, or a muscle cruiser, I think. And it's just the sum of those parts should not work so well together. It's part cruiser, part street fighter, part special show bike, but it does work really well. The ride position is quite relaxed. You sit quite low, the seat is only 790mm high, and you have a nice easy reach to the ground. There's a little fly screen at the front, but nothing to speak of really, so I suppose the touring aspect is fairly limited, but it is an awful lot of fun to ride this bike. You have 168 horsepower, 126 newton meters of torque. It's just a lot of fun to chuck this bike around, and it turns and it goes and it brakes so well. It is just a real joy to ride. The bike weighs 230 odd kilos, so it's not a light bike, but because it's quite low, that weight is fairly low down, and it's easy enough to move around. And when you ride it, it doesn't feel like a big bike. I mean, sure, it doesn't turn like a sports bike, but it does turn pretty nice for a big cruiser. One thing that has changed from the last model is the frame. So the last one used the steel trellis frame. This one has an aluminium monocoque frame, so it looks a bit different. Similar sort of thing what Ducati did with the Monster. It's perhaps not quite such a big deal with this bike as it was with the Monster. Many people really missed that one in the new version, but it seems to be Ducati's case that the technology from the racing side comes to the road bikes as well. Another nice thing about this bike is the design of it. I mean, it's a beautiful bike, but there are very nice little details, like these pillion footbacks. They just fold away when you don't have a pillion. This particular bike has the cowl at the back, so you wouldn't really have a pillion there anyway, but you could have the pillion seat there, fold the pegs down, job's a good one. And the exhaust, 4 pipes sticking out there like a Gatling gun, that's pretty special. So there's a lot of effort has gone into the design of this bike. Another bonus for this bike is the service intervals, 9,000 mile service intervals, which is pretty good. Although when you buy a bike of this caliber, you probably aren't too bothered about the servicing costs. At least you don't need to bother with it very often. It's every couple of years or 9,000 miles. So there you have it, Ducati Diavel V4. Absolutely bonkers bike, which acts like a really normal bike. It's a bit of a mystery to me, but it's a lot of fun to ride.